Hi everyone, Sandy Trefker here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm glad to have you join me, and please remember to subscribe by clicking on the subscription option and then also clicking on the bell so that you will be notified of every time I upload a new project. So this is a quick project that I created using the leftover papers from my design team package, the Echo Parks or Cartabellas, Cupid and Company. And I also used a large graphic 45 tag to make this tag card. So I'm going to show it to you real quick and then we'll get into the tutorial. So it's real easy to make. On the front here it has a little pocket that was added on. It has a tag here. This is Happy Valentine's Day. This is all from the collection. Hello Sweet Stuff. You could add a photo back there. Then there is a pocket made out of the tag where it's folded up. This tag comes out Love, Sweet Love, and it still stays hanging onto the main tag. And then inside I also have a couple of pieces, a little photo frame that you can tuck a photo in here at the top. This piece of paper comes out with the lips on it, and then I just added some stickers and then kissing booth on the back. Just kind of decorated it up. That's for fun. And then this, you can put a photo here and do some writing on the back or whichever you want on this mat. So that's all from the collection. And then you just untie this little loop here. It's just looped. It's not tied in a knot or anything. Make sure you don't tie it in a knot because then it's really hard to get undone, because you want to be able to open up the features on the back. So this just kind of comes undone. Turn it around. We have this flap here. I'll show you how to make this pocket here with a graphic 45 die. So it has a place in here. I don't have anything in it. You can put one of these elements in. This one will fit just fine back there like that. And just go ahead and have to poke it all the way down to make it close. I think maybe it's a little too large, so you need to cut one down a little bit shorter in length. But you can tuck like folded up notes in this little envelope, and this just closes up like that. So really that's all to it. It is a quick and easy tag card that you can make. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. For this design team project for Country Craft Creations, there is not going to be a cut guide because I am using up the scraps that are left over from my two previous projects. If you remember, if you check my YouTube channel, I created a Valentine box out of this paper collection, and then I made an album that fit in the box. So I don't have very much left. I have this box of a basket of very small pieces here, a couple of the cut aparts that I could use to make something, and I've decided that we're going to make a tag card, Valentine tag card. So I have taken my bigger pieces and pre-cut with the graphic 45 dies, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is my biggest piece that was left, and I didn't want to use this with the dies because I might want these cut apart. So I saved this one, and then of course I have quite a few stickers still left that I can use. And I took one of the tags, graphic 45 tags, from a package of the large ivory tag album. So I'm going to use one of those. And I believe you can still order these from countrycraftcreations.com. Then from my dies from graphic 45. Now this one is the matting die for this big tag. I'll have to check and see which set it comes in. It does not come with this one that I'm using over here. So this is what I used to cut some mats for this. Now, I didn't have anything long enough. So if you'll notice, this one here is kind of cut off here at the bottom. That's where I cut it off. That one, this one as well. It didn't go all the way down because I didn't have enough. That's because I'm going to cut them and piece them together. But I especially wanted this top area here, the rounded corners, for the mats with the grommet hole, because see, it fits perfectly onto that tag. Now some people think that these dies from graphic 45 are to make tags, and you can, but then you don't have any way to mat the tags nicely. So these are actually made for you to purchase the graphic 45 plain tags in different colors, black, craft, the ivory, then use this die with your pattern paper to cut out your mat. So that's what that's for. This one here I left long. That's a good size long one. Then I also took, move this plastic out of the way. I also took some of my smaller pieces and I just die cut the bottom corner edge. I just thought, well, that'd just be easier to do that. So I have some odds and ends where I've done that. So yours are going to be different than mine. That's okay. We're just going to put this together. Like I said, there's no cutting guide because really it's just whatever you have left that you're going to punch out or cut. So then I also took another set of dies. This one is a Graphic 45 called Policy and Decorative Dies. These all come in this die set, so check countrycraftcreations.com and see if it's still available there. So out of linen artisan cardstock, I punched out one of these nameplate pieces here, and then I cut out one of the policy envelopes. So I'm going to see where I can use that. So that's what I've got ready to go with getting this all done and decorated. So I'm going to take this first and go ahead and fold it up. And see, I have not used this yet. Let's see how it goes. And of course, we got the bottom edge here, so that's going to bring that all together. And then there's the flap. So I'm going to see if I can incorporate that somehow into my Valentine tag. Now then, I'm going to want to fold this up. I don't want it the full length, so it's going to be a card. So let me grab my ruler. These are about 8 3/4. So let's make it, like if we wanted to stick it in some envelope or something, let's make it about a 5-inch. So grab my scoreboard really quick. Put this in, put the long side in at the top. And we're going to score. Let's go ahead and score at 5. See how that looks. Then I'm going to fold this up. Okay, like that. So there's that. I'm going to seal this up. So I'm going to go ahead and put my scoreboard up. And grab my art glitter glue, which I forgot and left the pin out. So it's going to be a little, whoa, too much came out. Okay, let me wipe this off down here. And I just lined it up against it. So be careful with your glue. I don't have the fine tip in it, so I thought it would be clogged, but it was not. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this up. And I put too much glue here at the top. Oh, you know what? We need to pattern this first. So I'm going to look at what I punched out. I like this plaid one. So I'm going to cut this down to 5 so I can get the top. 5 inches or less. We don't need that much. I'm going to do it at 4. So this is going to go right here. So we do need to do that before we close up our pocket. So I'm just doing this without any plans or instructions. I haven't planned it out first or tried it out first. I'm just doing this as I go with the scraps to show you what you can do with some scraps. So I'm going to burnish that down. I really need to get a fine tip on here. So I'm going to pause for just a minute and get me a tip for my glue gun, my glue bottle. Okay, so I got my glue tip. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this flap piece right here along the edge. Not the top of it, not the bottom edge, but just the 2 sides. So we're going to seal that up. Bring it up. Burnish each side. Okay, I've got a new pin for my glue. So I'm going to put that in for right now. And then I want to check and see. So if I put that there, kind of like that, the lips. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Got that rounded already cut on there. If you don't have the die, you could use a corner rounder if you wanted to. Then I want, I think, like a pocket on this. So let me look in my scraps, because this can be just a square cut. I like the red dots. So I need this to be 3 and, not 3/4, 3 and 11/16. So let me cut that real quick. I may have got that a little bit too long. Yes, I did. So I'm going to trim off just a little bit. Tiniest bit more. So this is going to be a pocket here. So we want to put glue on both ends. There across the bottom, one edge. There's no direction on this dot, so we're good with that. Right here and along the bottom edge and the other end. Okay, so now we're going to put this right here. Make it the same distance from the bottom. So now that's left open there. And I'm going to put this right here, but I want to see what I have that could go inside there. Let's go with the stickers. With all my heart. It's kind of cool. I'm going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this nameplate piece down. I just like the shapes, the curves of this. And if you had a metal one, you could use metal, but I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to center it here. All my heart's going to go in that space there. It doesn't fill up the whole space, and that's okay. I'm going to need to get a new glue bottle, I think. This is getting really low. There we go. With all my love, kind of right here in the center. Make sure it's centered side to side. Yep. Okay. There we go. Okay, straight. Now then, here on each side of this, I have these. I don't want to use brads. I'm just going to put some glue here in each hole. And I want to use the flat back pearls. I'll use the large ones. And one for the other side. Now then, we will put a cut apart in here. So I'm going to have to trim it down though to make it fit. Let me see what other color parts I got. I don't know if I want the black one. Look at the Happy Valentine's Day. I kind of like that one. So I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out. I'm gonna use my scissors to cut it out right here. Curve. See how we like that. Check the length of this. I'm going to make it a little shorter. I want it even, so I'm going to use my trimmer on that. Cut it just below the front. Let's see how that fits. It's better. And I think it might need matted on something. Make it a little thicker, so I'm going to glue it down. I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the tag. And then we're going to round this. Let's see how that looks in there. A little bit tall up there, so I'm going to trim it some more. Didn't want it quite over the grommet. So I'm going to trim down the sides and the bottom again. So sometimes you just have to like play with it and see what size works best. So we got that right there. That's going to work. And then of course I want to punch a hole in this tag. And use the bigger punch right through that pink circle there. There we go. We got a hole for that one. So I'm going to stick it in there. I will be adding some ribbon on that. And then this piece here where it's tucks in, we're going to make something that goes in there. But on the back, let's go ahead and do paper on that back. So I'm going to cut this down. Should be just under 5 inches. So you've got your grommet already punched out there. And if that's too big, then I'm just going to trim it right off the bottom a little bit. Use that to straighten it up some. Right there, just like that. So we'll put that on. So I got some AirPods for Christmas so that I could listen to music while I'm crafting, but you don't hear it because YouTube doesn't allow music in the background if it's copyrighted. So I would get a strike if I did that and wouldn't be able to put ads on. So for Christmas I asked for some AirPods that I can use and listen to my radio music with my phone. So I'm loving how it works. I just hope, I'm listening to music right now, and I hope that I just don't break out singing. So that would not sound great. So, whoops. I'm not getting this one on quite the way I want it. So let me readjust it. That's better. Okay, there's that. Now, this thing here, this is where I'm going to put policy envelope, like here. It should fit on there really good. We need to add patterned paper to that though. So that's going to be a place to add some special notes or something that you don't want other people to see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put glue here on this tab, because we don't need to cover the whole thing with paper. And I don't want this hole, so I'm going to put that one down. And put glue on this edge here. And there, we've got that sealed up. So this is going to be the side that's going down. So we need to make some flaps here. So I had this one already cut, but I want the red showing. And I want to trace this. So let's grab a pen. Because the die makes the policy envelope, but it doesn't punch out mats for it. So we're going to have to do it by hand. Cut to just inside your lines. See how that works. And it's covering up that hole, but I'm okay with that, I think. So I'm just go ahead and glue this down. And then we need here. So this one's going to be two and 5/8 by 3.5. So we cut that 3.5 tall by 2 5/8 wide. See how that looks. So it's going to go right there. We'll glue that on. Now I am not inking just for the time factor, but you certainly can ink your pattern papers as you're assembling. That's the look that you want. It's kind of a shabby chic look with the inks. Got that. So I don't have a closure on it yet, but we'll do something. So this is going to fit right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue the whole thing down. If you wanted to make it a pocket, you could, but I'm just going to glue the whole thing down. Burnish that down. So we have a secret pocket there. We have all this on the back. So I'm going to look it over and decide what else I want to do for decorating. So I went to my stash. I have several of these little plastic boxes full of different laces and things. So I pulled out some that I think I might want. So check in your stash what you have. I have a piece of the red seam binding left. I cut out some red button string. So these are different pieces I have here. I went ahead and did some cutting and assembly of some pieces that I'm going to stick in my pocket. So here on the back, we need to finish this part here. So I did fussy cut this out. I used the same message. I mean, not fussy cut, but used my scissors. And I used my pencil and traced around it. So I'm covering up that hole. And I'm just going to put the glue on the back side. I cut this out of scraps, of course. And the fun thing about this is I have lots of scraps, except for the big pieces that I would need to cover the tags. I can make several of these. Of course, I could paper piece the parts for the tags if I had to. So now we have that. And then I cut this out. I put it on cardstock to make it thicker. And then I added a scrap of the patterned paper on the back. And I'm going to just glue this on so that it hangs down. It's kind of a closure that way. So about a ½ inch from the top edge here on the back. Just put my glue, and then I'm going to glue this down right here, kind of center it onto that flap. So that adds to that, but that's not all that's going to hold it down. I'm going to use some of this trim and stuff. So I'm thinking, first of all, now this is white. This is the off-colored linen color, but there's white in some of the paper images, so I think the two together are fine. So I'm just playing with an idea of putting some of this trim here on the front. So I'm going to take a small 1/8 of an inch score tape and put it along the top edge of this pocket, right over that nameplate a little bit. I'm going to burnish that down. Close this up. Just want to do a little bit of dressing it all up. Pull the backing off. Okay, now then where that score tape is, I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to lay the flat side. I'm going to extend it over so that I can trim it off. I'm going to start it about right there. I don't know. Yep, the sticky part's not there. I didn't get my backing off all the way. I wondered why that was white. There we go. It peeled the paper off. So I'm going to start it here, press it in, and line it up nice and even all the way across. And then I turn it over, take my scissors, and trim that off. It's just going to be on one side, just like that. Okay, then I love this lacy part here. And it's got some beads on it, so I don't know if that would do good for laying in my tag. So I'm not going to use that one for now. So I've got this. And I was thinking about tying it around. So what I'm going to do is going to take some more score tape, a little bit wider, and I'm going to put it on this front side here, just on the front, about a ½ inch from the opening of the pocket. Pull that tape backing off. And I'm going to position my seam binding ribbon right over that. And then bring it around so it will tie. I'm going to tie the ends into a knot. That's so that if it frays, it will stop at the knot. And then of course I'll trim that off a little bit. Trim it off right here. And we're just going to bring it around so we don't attach this one down. We want it left where you can untie and open the back. So I'm just going to loop this through, just like that. Make a small bow. It's kind of short, but I think it'll work. Could have been a little bit longer, but I'm okay with it. Right there, like that. So I don't want it real big. Don't want a real big bow. There we go. So that's there. So that comes around and it holds everything down in the back. And I still like this eyelash string somewhere. I may play with this to I think that I'm going to attach some of this down. So I'm going to use this real skinny tape right on top of the seam binding right here. Just layer it up. Burnish that down. See if we can get this to work. And see if I can get the backing off. There we go. Lay this out so I can see how long I need this. About right there, and we're just gonna stick it in there. Rub it in. And when we bring it around to the side, I'm going to cut this off and then tie a knot. Tying a knot in the other end too. I'm just trying to make it about the same spot as the knot in the seam binding ribbon. And cut that off. Got stuff everywhere, huh? So we're going to bring this around. And I'm just going to tie it in a loop, and I'm not going to like really make a knot or a bow. And I'm going to look at this and see if we need to trim it down some here. This one's a little long, so I'm just going to tie another knot, shorten it up. And shorten this one up too. Okay. Okay, so there we have that, like that. do we want some of this other in there on this pocket or not? Is that too much? Nah, I don't think I'm going to. Okay, so I trimmed down this cut apart. This is Hello Sweet Stuff, and that's going to go in this pocket right here. And then, of course, we made this tag earlier, matted it, so I'm going to be adding some stuff to it, but that's going to go in there too. I took one of from the frames and tags, took this frame and I glued it down. I didn't glue the top part. I fussy cut around it. So this pulls out this Kisses paper. You could put a photo in there if you wanted to. I just put that in there for looks for right now. Put these pink lips sticker on some of the cardstock and fussy cut around it so it doesn't glue down on the photo part. This is a sticker on the back. This is the inside of that frame, and then stickers around it. So I think that's cute. That's going to go in this bigger pocket here on the back, way back here, like that. And then here's another piece of the lips paper just on the cardstock, so you can put a photo or write a message, and that's going to tuck in back in there too, like that. So that's pretty full there. Now we need to put some ribbons and tags. Then I also have this one here, and I'm going to attach it in on some button string and have it tuck in but tied into this tag here. So to do that, I'm going to make it pretty long here. I've got it folded. It's a loop. I'm going to stick it into the tag. I did not mat this one. I just cut it out of a cut apart. And I'm just going to pull this through and let it tie right there. It's got a loop. And I'm going to trim this down some so it's easier to work with. So the grommet, the actual tag grommet, I'm going to pull this through so it can kind of hang down or tuck in if you want. And I want it kind of loose so that I can actually tuck it. So I'm going to tuck it in back here in the back like that. And that's where I want to tie it, right here. So that's why you need the longer string so you can work with it. So I'm going to tie it to the tag and leave some loose there. Now I'm going to take this back out because I know where I want it. And then I'm going to tie this in a knot to make sure it's secure. So don't be afraid to tie things in, see how you like it. And I'm going to tie a knot in double string here and then trim that off. So now we have a tag that hangs like this, but it can tuck in back here in this back pocket like that. Now we're going to put more ribbons and stuff here at the top. So I think in this main one, I'll take this out for now. I think I'm going to put some of this trim in. Tie it. Just determine how long you think you might want it to be. And I'm going to tie it right over that button string that I just tied in. And tie a knot. Pull it. It probably just needs just one loop there. And then I'm going to pull this out and cut these off. And then of course I like the eyelash. I'm going to stick that in there. And right over the white one that I just put in, I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to tie that to a knot, loop it. And this one I am going to double tie. And then I'm going to bring it up. Now then, do I want to tie it in a knot or just let it go? I don't think it's going to ravel. I'll tie the others in a knot though. So maybe I will. I'll just go ahead and tie a knot, just to be on the safe side. And then trim that off. And do the other one. So there's just a lot of fiddling with your ribbons and laces. Oops. Let me needs to be a little shorter there. Right there. Trim that one off. Okay, now we need some more of this red ribbon in there. So I'll get some more. Let's see, what do I have left here? I have a little piece left. And you've got to pull it up to kind of see where your grommet hole is. I'm just going to stick this in there. You have to use your tip of your scissor or your score tool, whatever you've got, to kind of poke it through. Grab the end, and then I'm going to open these up so that that red can be tied between all of it. This may not be long enough for me to tie a knot on the end, but I'm going to try on each of these. So I'm going to knot this, pull it. I'm going to have to tie another knot in it just to be safe. Oops. Really could have used a longer piece of ribbon there. So that one's tied. And I'm going to try to tie a knot in the very end. It's just a matter of grabbing the end and pulling it through. There we go. Slide that knot down. And the other side. If you've got fingernails, it makes it a little bit easier. I had to take the fingernails off. Let my nails underneath heal a little bit. I have really thin nails, so I like wearing the press-on nails or acrylic nails, but sometimes it doesn't do me very good. So there we go. Trim that off a little bit. And got this tag tied on, and tuck it in back here. It says "Love, Sweet Love." And I may want some longer red in there, I don't know. So let me grab some more. I think I have more red ribbon here somewhere. So I took a longer piece of the seam binding ribbon, tied it in, and tied it in a bow. So I actually have bow, but then I decided I want bring in the black. So I grabbed some black button string that I have. And I'm going to thread that through just to bring a little bit of black in there. So just, keep adding whatever you have, whatever you like to add. I just thought this, and you could tie some charms on the end of this if you had some that you wanted to put. That would be pretty to have some charms. And we still have to add some strings and things into our tags that we have in here. So I'm going to tie this into a bow just because I think that would look nice. I'm going to resize the loops a little bit, pull it tight. Now with something like this, you might want to put just a touch on the button string. I just put a touch of it. You could add a button in there if you wanted to. Put a little bit of glue where that knot is. It will dry clear this art glitter glue. That helps to kind of secure that. And then I'm going to decide, do I want to just tie these together? I think I am. I'll cut this off a little bit. And I'm going to tie a knot, two strings, the tails, and make them one knot for the tails. Like this. And then cut that off. So that's hanging down there like that. I like that. Okay, so this tag here is the only one that I have that I need to add some ribbon on. or some twine and stuff. So I'm going to take a red and a black and combine them together. Make sure that that's the same length. And then in the center, I'm going to fold them in half. And then I got me a loop, and I'm going to stick this loop of both of them in through the tag. I have to do it separately a little bit. That one came separate. There we go. Pull that in. So we have the two loops. And I'm going to bring the tails through the loop and then pull. And then I'm going to take all of these. Let's see how it looks. And I'm going to separate them, and then I'm going to tie, I think, a bow. So we have black and red loops here, just like that. Bring it in maybe a little bit, so they're not so big. And then I'll take a little bit of the glue and secure that knot, because it will come loose sometimes. It gets kind of tangled up your tag, the ends of your ribbon or string. So go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that. And then I'm going to take these tails and I'm going to tie red and black together on one side. Make a knot. On the other side. Okay, so there's that tag. So that goes here in the front. So we have lots of ribbons and things. We have our ribbon that crosses over here and holds this one. So that's our Valentine tag card that you can make out of a Graphic 45 tag, and using the leftovers from some of your projects, from your Valentine projects. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope this didn't take too terribly long. I wanted it to be a short video, but it doesn't always work out that way. So hopefully it wasn't too long. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell when you do, so that you'll be notified of my next project. Bring this up so you can see it a little bit better. And make sure you shop at countrycraftcreations.com. Check for the Graphic 45 dies and tags, seam binding ribbon, your adhesive, your score tape, and art glitter glue. Also look for button string that you might want to use in your collection, and different elements like that. So again, thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.